Ladies, ladies and gentlemen,
So much excitement!
welcome to the Connectedly Show numero dos for Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014.
Welcome, everybody. I am Kevin Mitchluck. We've got a great cast of characters with us today. Adam Zeiss,
Greetings,
Phil
salutations.
Dickinson,
What's up?
Sam Sabrai.
Hola. That's like
This is only our second Connectedly podcast, and it's already
Connectedly Show.
This is only our second Connectedly show, and this is it's a special edition already because it's Mobile Fit Month across our Mobile Nations family of sites. And the month of June, we're talking fitness. We're reviewing all the fitness accessories out there and apps and everything. Connectedly is playing host to the event across our sites. So we figured we'd take that, we'd hijack our second Connectedly show, not podcast, show, to talk about the event. And I think to focus a little bit on a connected accessory that quite a few of us are putting to work this month, the Fitbit. So, for this event, we have our regular editor meetings, and we all got together and we started planning what we want to do for Mobile Fit Month, including coming up with the name for Mobile Fit Month. And we said, who wants to be like the guy in charge of Mobile Fit Month? And Sam was the sucker who said, I'll do it, at which point, Phil and I and Adam were like, you're on. So Sam, let's turn it over to you. Give a little bit of an overview of what Mobile Fit is about, what we're going to be doing, and then let's, get to the meat and potatoes or vegetables.
Kevin, you forgot to congratulate Sam on his promotion to editor-in-chief of WP Central.
That's true, right? So I guess maybe introductions. Where's everybody from? Phil, you take the lead. I think most people know you, but maybe not on the Connectedly show. So
I run AndroidCentral.com, and that's kind of all I do now, I guess.
You guys have an amazing app, I must say.
Why, thank you, Kevin.
Did you code it yourself?
I did not. I did upload it myself. So
hey, that counts. I give you kudos.
I'm pretty proud of that.
Adam Zeiss.
Yes,
What do you do?
I'm from this site called Connectedly, and I do many different things that people don't know about that I don't want to tell them about.
And Sam.
Hey, I'm the second in command at Windows Phone Central, but I'm supposed to be gunning for Dan's spot.
You
That's
got
good.
it.
And we also have a pretty cool app on Windows Phone.
We just promoted you. That's taken care of.
That's legit. That's for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Dan will watch this, so I think you can, just take the gig until otherwise
All right.
noted.
I will take it. So let's talk Mobile Fit Month, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Mobile Fit Month is where all our sites are going to be discussing the intersection of health, fitness, and technology, specifically mobile technology. And it's going to be an exciting month. Fitness is great. People were fit 100 years ago, but all these devices are coming out are just going to help us get even more fit and track our stats. It's a really exciting time for getting in shape. Tons of content coming out. Yeah.
Can you tell I'm excited about getting in shape?
What'd you have for lunch, Phil?
Don't worry about that.
Yogurt?
I had yogurt for breakfast. I had stuff for lunch.
So I think it's good, right? Because we have Connectedly this year. In the past, everything has been mobile, obviously mobile focused. We had Android Central, Crackberry, Windows Phone Central, iMore. We've done Mobile Fitness Month in the past, but I think we did it in like January or February.
The horrible month of February, which was really great for us, because we're like, hey, only 28 days. Let's pick the shortest month of the year to get in shape, so it'll be over before it starts. But February is a really tough month. It's winter. A lot of us are indoors. January is when you start the year with your fitness goals, but it's just hard to get outside, especially if you live in a place that has cold winters, like
Right.
I do, and enjoy the weather. So, who wants to spend a month on treadmills and bikes and never see the sun outside? So this year we said, let's do it in June. And I think June's a good month because everybody wants to. It's not a good month?
It's
not if you live in a
like
hot
February is the only month I can go outside here.
See, I'm just thinking like my beach season's July and August, right? So I've got a good month to actually try to look good, or not be embarrassed to take my shirt off at the beach for once.
So I have a question for you guys, and this has kind of been my thing getting started with this. I don't want to deal with technology crap when I'm supposed to be forcing myself to exercise at all.
I don't see that's a you
Was that
like
a
you
question?
went into the meat and potatoes of the connected health debate almost, right? Do you
Right,
want to
like I'm supposed to be out there busting my ass and sweating, and last thing I want to worry about is dropping something or breaking something, or is this thing connected to my like I do not want to deal with that at all.
I think so. I mean, we should all go roundtable here. I want to say right away that I'm kind of with you, Phil, in that I don't really want to live to the ripe old age of 150, but be like a slave to technology all the time. Like, and I look at a lot of this stuff as training aids, where even a Fitbit. This is this month I'm wearing it every day religiously because we're doing a fitness challenge, which we'll talk about later. So you can get involved. But I've worn the Fitbit before, and what I found was, once I wore it for a couple months, my body developed an intuition for what 10,000 steps a day felt like. And I could tell, like, okay, I'm getting it today, I'm not getting it today. So for me, like, the details of, okay, you got 8,763 steps today instead of 10,000, you failed. I don't want to live my life like that. What I want to do is build really good habits that kind of wean me off the technology so I can just get back to living with good habits, cheat a little bit, have a good life. But I'm finding these things to be really handy, even like the Happy Fork, okay? This is one of these things that 2 years ago at CES was the talk of the show. It's a smart fork that basically yells at you to slow down if you're eating too quick. Honestly, just knowing this thing existed made me start eating slower because I'm like, holy crap, if there's a need in the world for a smart fork, there's a problem, and I probably have it, which I did. I only had to use it maybe 3 times to realize, okay, I ate way too damn fast. And ever since then, honestly, I eat a lot slower. Like, it permanently fixed my habits very, very quickly. Occasionally I speed up, but now I'm really conscious of it if I start to, which for the first 33 years of my life, that wasn't the case. Is this a fork I want to use every single day for the rest of my life? No. Is there value in it as a training aid? I think for me, there is. So I think this month what we're doing is we're kind of looking at that, right? Like, what are these products on the market? How do they work as kind of advertised? Does it make sense to invest in it? And is this something you're going to use forever, or is it something that's going to maybe just motivate you and change your habits for the better? Does that answer your question? Kind of.
I have the same thing because I had a couple different fitness bands that I was checking out. One of them had a heart rate monitor, but and I don't have very much experience with heart rate monitors, but it was it had this strap that you put around your chest, and then it was wireless and it tied in. But in some instances I couldn't get it to work right. It said my heart rate was way lower than it should have been, and vice versa. And it just wasn't connecting. And I do this workout program, which is like 3 or 4 times a week, and every time I go to do it, it was like a chore to be like, hey, I need to go grab this, and I need to strap it on, and it's like, it was cold in the morning, so it was cold on my skin, and it's like, it needs to be a little wet to get a good connection and this and that, and I'm like, what's the point in the end for me to be paying attention to my heart rate? Like, I know, whether I'm working out hard or I'm not working out hard, it's like if I can't breathe when I'm done, then I know that my heart rate is pumping,
Yeah.
and that, so it's just, I kind of agree with Phil in a sense, but at the same time, I like having my Fitbit. I charge it, once every 5 days. It just kind of sits there. It syncs on its own. I don't have to think about it. And then, when have downtime, I can kind of flip through and say, hey, yesterday was kind of a crappy day. I only took 5,000 steps or something like that. So it gives me a good idea of, but it's like Kevin said, it's, when you're taking 10,000 steps and when you're not. So it's,
I love the idea of Fitbit, but here's my problem with it. I have absolutely no idea where mine went.
I mean,
None.
If you
What's the
had it on
little
your wrist,
one?
you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Is it the Fitbit 1?
Yeah.
I lost my original one. That was a clip or whatever. That thing lasted 2 weeks. The wristband, much better.
I don't want another wristband, though. Like, I'm already wearing a Pebble, which was kind of a big deal for me. I don't want something else on this wrist. Something this big, and this isn't the Fitbit because I have no idea where it is, but something this big is going to get lost. Absolutely. So right now, I'm just using the Fitbit app on the phone.
But what if you swapped out the Pebble and you just use this guy instead? Then you'd only have one.
Because I like the Pebble.
Huh.
So that's probably just a problem of the technology and the products that we have right now. We're in the early stages of wearables and the Internet of Things, and we'll start to see as time goes on products being refined, and so you'll get a Pebble that has everything the Fitbit does built into it, and so you do just wear the Pebble when you work out or you go throughout your daily life.
Speaking about being at the beginning of this, I mean, yesterday Apple had their worldwide developer conference keynote, and CEO Tim Cook was on stage, and they announced sort of their platform for starting to bring some of these disconnected things together. What are they calling it? HealthKit, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows, they're announcing this yesterday. This is really, there's been a lot of companies out there building products because they're quick on the mark, right? They see the opportunity. You're getting into a world where everybody owns a smartphone. They're out there, being entrepreneurs, finding the products, but it's going to take these types of all-encompassing solutions to pull things together. I mean, Phil, Samsung has their S kits.
It's very, very much like what Samsung's done, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's going to take some time for all these things to fill out, for the crappy products to fall away. It's going to take some time for the great products to emerge. But, we're the guys and gals who are front lines who need to be the ones using this every step of the way, right? Giving our feedback, telling you what sucks, telling you what's good, telling you when it's time to buy, where to spend your money, and how to best integrate it into your life. I mean, one thing that I'm going to write an editorial about this month is, honestly, one of the best investments I made was 4 years ago, coming up on my 4-year anniversary. I bought the Withings or Wythings, I never know how to pronounce that company's name, Wi-Fi connected scale. And you know what it did for me was it kept me from falling off the bandwagon completely. Right. Because it tracks. I don't religiously roll out of bed and step on the scale. Maybe every couple times a week I do. Maybe I'll go a few weeks without it. Maybe some weeks I'll be motivated and I'll step on the scale every single day. But you can actually go to phones, phon.es/Kevin's Weight, KevinsWeight, and that's going to just redirect you to my grid of my body weight and body fat since 2010. And you can see my yo-yos and ups and downs. But what that did for me was, I kind of had a mental rule, which is if I ever get over 205 pounds, or when I hit that over 200-pound mark, okay, Kevin, you're having too much fun in life, you're drinking too much, you're eating too much, and it's time to drop. And Adam's excited because the heaviest I've been in the last 4 years was after his bachelor party weekend in Montreal, where I came back at 207 because we had so much smoked meat and booze in 3 days. My body was just poisoned. But then after that, I started to drop it down, and now it kept me from falling off the grid. And it's also really motivated me this year because 2014 I finally grew up. I've got my act together. I dropped pretty much 20 pounds in 3 months earlier this year, and now I'm I feel good. I've got my physique where I can work it. I feel healthy. I've made a lot of good health habits. I've pretty much taken a decade off my life in 4 months, which is amazing to me. I'm lighter and healthier than I was when I was 24 years old by a long shot. I'm probably back down to my early 20s in terms of how I feel and weight and everything. And that scale is kind of the honesty measure that's helped me for the last couple of years. And I think that's something where that's a no-brainer investment. Adam, it's not like the heart rate monitor where you need to track it 24/7. This is just a matter of most households have a scale. If you're going to invest in a scale, invest in a Wi-Fi connected one, and you now have a track record that will really help you out over time. And I think those are the kind of products that get me excited because they're not too invasive into your lifestyle, but I think there are benefits to having it.
Right, and I mean, I think that speaks to Phil and Adam's, restraints about all these connected stuff, because right now we're in the early days of all these products, and you still have to fiddle around with it. But when you take ordinary products like a scale, make it connected, make it so you don't have to do much except step on it like you normally would, and it's already giving you invaluable information. That's the future we want with mobile fit, and we're going to get someday. It's just there's still a ton of products that don't exist yet that might exist in 5-10 years. Imagine a connected gym where you go do a workout, you sit on the bench press, and it automatically knows it's Sam. He's benching this much, and you can kind of track those things. And so we don't have that today, but it's not too far-fetched to imagine that happening down the road.
I think part of the whole mobile fit thing too is kind of relaying to people how they can use their smartphones and this different technology, the Fitbits and the connected scales. Because I think what we forget a lot of times is everything's different for us. We're tech geeks for a living. We own all this technology. I'm sure all of us own more than just a Fitbit. I have 8 smartwatches sitting next to me, but your average person isn't going to have all this technology. They're going to have to make one choice for their wristband or for their scale or their smartwatch or things like that. They're not going to go out and buy 4 or 5 different ones. So I think part of the mobile fit mission or the mobile fit goal is to be hey, this is why you should get a Fitbit or a fitness tracker. This is the best heart rate monitor you can buy. This is why you should use a Wi-Fi scale. This is how these things can help you, just to kind of ease them into it. Because your average Joe will be like, hey, I don't need any of that. I'm just going to go out and run and call it a day. But it's, our kind of mission is to be like, hey, go buy this, and it'll help you do these things better.
Yeah, and I think fun is a big part of it too. Like, so this month as part of Mobile Fit, we're having a Fitbit, challenge, and you can go to connected.ly/mobile-fitbit. You'll get directed to our group. I think we have over 650 members in it. Those are all people who have Fitbits, and they've signed up, and we're having a friendly sort of competition tracking our steps for the month. We're going to give away prizes to the people at the top of the leaderboard, but there's hardcore people who dedicate hours of their day to fitness. They're going to win. So we're giving away prizes for, at random to people who participate. But I think that the whole concept of, something like a Fitbit challenge is really fun. And, even for me, I told my, my in-laws, my future in-laws, that, hey, I got to eat healthy in June. We're having, Mobile Fit month. And then my future sister-in-law, who's getting married in a month, or having her wedding dinner in a month, she's like, you know what? I want to buy one. So she went and bought one, and now she's taking part just because she has a goal a month away. This is a way to keep her honest and make sure every day she's doing something. It's a really great way to get people who maybe haven't given their health lately the attention it deserves to jump into it in a way that's actually kind of fun. It's a little bit of gamification over health and fitness.
Yeah, I actually I had an old, I guess it's the Fitbit Ultra. It was like the first Fitbit ever, which never really worked too well for me. I had problems with it, and I just kind of stopped using it after a while. But I gave that to my wife, and she's been using it to track her steps and stuff, and she's actually really enjoying it because she works out. She goes to the gym a couple times a week. She runs now that it's warm out in the morning, but she's getting a real kick out of seeing how many calories she's burning or how many steps she's taking. Like she came in this morning, she's like, I already got 4,000 steps, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning because she was out running for miles, and I'm like, wow, that's great, but she's like super excited. So I think it does help to kind of get that instant feedback of, something telling you, hey, this is your step count, or hey, you reached your goal for the day.
Yeah, I think what else we're going to see is, we haven't used the term in this podcast, this show yet, but if you start to research this stuff online, you'll quickly find the term quantified self, and this is sort of a movement which takes fitness tracking and health tracking a little bit to the extreme, and it's really this notion that we're going to have the technology to track everything our bodies are doing. And in a lot of extents, we have it, right? You can get the wearable EKGs and heart rate monitors and blood glucose testers and trackers. We have the things for the fitness trackers. But the notion here is that, at some point you're going to track everything that's happening in your body. And that's going to allow you, if you're so inclined, to do everything right. If you start tracking what happens to your blood sugar and your heart rate after you drink a can of Coke, and you see it in real time and it's tracked, and you're like, holy smokes, this stuff is poison to me. You're very quickly going to change your diet to take that out of there. Or at least if you choose to have it, you know exactly what you're doing to yourself. And I think it takes this kind of the people who want to get extreme about it and solve the technological problems for these extreme circumstances of, I want to track everything possible to the most minute detail possible. That might not be a concern to Phil, where he's like, this is crazy. I just want to have a good life and do the majority of things right. But they're going to solve the problems at the extreme end, which will then trickle back down to what the average consumer needs. And I think it's going to take a bit of time. The Fitbit's good. I'm enjoying it. But there's lots of stuff where it's useless. It's not giving me a great, if I go to the gym and do weights or something and I'm doing lower body, crazy heavy squats or whatever, deadlifts or something, it's counting a step, which should count as probably 500 steps in terms of energy expended. And it's going to take time for all those products to start to make sense and work together. But overall, a lot of fun, and for the average person, it's good.
I think it's really important as we're tracking all this stuff to remember to step back and kind of take that top-down view. I got one of those. How do you pronounce it? Withings.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before.
Yeah, I got one of those scales, and it's tempting as hell to just walk up to it and measure, weigh yourself every 10 minutes. Even if you do it once a day, that's fine, but you have to remember that your weight's going to fluctuate anyway. Yeah. So, you can do it every day, but really just remember to look at that stuff, once a week if you want. I mean, you don't obsess about it. Same thing. I think same thing with the steps, right? You can look at your steps every day, and it's good to have the individual daily goals. But again, look at it from the larger standpoint. Right. How far did I walk this week? How much more did I walk this week than I walked last week, which was none, right? And kind of look at it that way, and don't obsess quite so much about the just the really short-term goals.
I think that's my thing too. I have issues with the scale, because I'm a little heavier than I should be, but I have problems going in, and weighing myself for the fear that I'm going to weigh more than I did the last time, whether it's just a pound or two, but then I'm going to feel like, oh, I haven't been doing it hard enough, and, you get to the point where either like, oh, I need to really try harder, or it's like, screw it, it's not ever going to go away, like I just need to stop doing it. And the same thing with the steps, like, because I have nights where I bartend for 7 hours, and all I do is walk. So those nights, I get 15, 20,000 steps, and then the other days where, I'm stuck home just working all day, I maybe end up with 5,000. So it's, it balances out in the long run, and you kind of know whether you're doing really crappy or not. But it's like Phil said, I mean, you can't obsess over it because it's, it just kind of kills the whole process, I think.
And you become really annoying to your friends and family and coworkers and everybody else. I mean, honestly, over the years, like I've had I've experienced it all. I've occasionally been the guy who becomes really anal and annoying, and I've had the friends, yeah, maybe all the time, but not always as committed. Then I've had the friends who are extremely committed, and honestly, like, I don't want to live that way. I don't want to be the guy who can't go out for a dinner for like a celebration. It's like, I can't touch this, I can't touch this. No, I can't have a beer at all. Like, I want to still have a good life. I just want to have a default mode that, when I'm home, I'm in work mode. Okay, I have a pretty good Monday through Friday. I do the majority of things right. I'm on a healthy path. If I want to get anal about it for a month because there's, a half marathon I want to do one year, I'm in a condition where I can ramp up for that month, do it, not kill myself, go back to normal, hopefully live a long life and fight off diseases. But when you take things to that extreme, you're no longer living, right? And I'm engaged to a Italian, girl, beautiful girl. Phil, you guys have met her, right? And
I'm married to an Italian.
Yeah, you are. And if I became that person who doesn't know how to enjoy a glass of wine and some pasta on Sunday, I would be like out on the curb. I'd be dead to her because.
I tell you though, that's the one thing I've done that's probably bigger than all this tech stuff. Is I said, all right, I'm not going to drink for a month, and we're going to see what happens.
There you
go. How'd that go?
Side effect is I'm pretty pissed off a lot of the time. But I want to see what happens without all those empty calories. And if nothing happens, I'm heading to the bar first thing, I guess. I don't know.
It's funny. There's actually a guy that comes into my bar that I've known for years, and he came in. I hadn't seen him for 3 or 4 months, and he came in one day, and he just looked like he had lost tons of weight. And I asked him what it was, and he's like, "Oh, I stopped drinking." And it was just, beer after beer. It was just tons of empty calories, and now he just drinks water. But he dropped like 25 pounds or something like that.
God, July can't get here soon enough, though.
To go back to Kevin's thing, I mean, not everybody has to be that super anal guy, but it sucks when you try to eat healthy. Kevin was telling us the story before when he went out last night, and you're eating a salad, but then when you're done with the salad, it's like, hey, I'm still hungry, I need more food. So what do you do at that point?
Eat a good salad.
I ordered 2 salads. I had a full, beautiful Santa Fe chicken salad. It was big, avocado, chicken, lots of lettuce and greens. And I ate the thing, and I'm just like, they're like, how was your dinner? I'm like, well, it tasted good, but I'm like, I feel like I haven't eaten. They're like, do you want something else? I'm like, I guess another salad. So they brought me another salad of mixed greens, broccoli, and quinoa or whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'm better. And then I felt good this morning. I was fine, but I mean, I had to eat twice as much salad to even feel like I did anything, which then cost $50. And I'm like, what is the world coming to? How can 2 salads and an espresso cost $50? And then I just got angry, like Phil, but I didn't drink.
So before we digress too far, we do want to incorporate our Fitbit extravaganza into our Mobile Fit show. So we should talk a little about Fitbit. What Fitbit is for people that don't know. I think where they came from. They have tons of different devices now. They have some news to them because they had a recalled device a couple months ago. So I don't know, Sam, do you want to fire in there?
Yeah, so Fitbit is a company that makes these wireless or activity trackers that you can wear on your wrist, or they have little ones that you can clip to your belt and put on your wrist, and they're pretty cool. They just track your steps, track your activity. They can track your sleep. They have a few models, about 4 or 5 models. Two ones that are dedicated to the wrist, and then 2 or 3 that are small ones that clip to your belt, but can also be attached to your wrist with a extra accessory.
Yeah.
And it's just a good way to keep track of your daily activity without taking much effort. It just does it all automatically.
Yeah, I think they originally, I'm 95% sure, I think the Fitbit Ultra, that it's now called, was the original Fitbit, which is basically just a little pedometer guy, which was a clip, and that tracked, it had your calories burned, steps, floors, and that had a little kind of cloth thing you could put in to track your sleep, which didn't work the greatest. But they've since expanded, and now they have the Fitbit One and the Fitbit Zip, which are kind of little clippy guys, which can track your sleep with another accessory, but they do the steps, calories, all that. And then the Fitbit Flex, which I think is the one most of us have, which is the wrist-borne one. It's got a little guy that's in here that you can take out and charge, and it goes with the app. And then there was the Fitbit Force, which actually had a full display on it. Is that what you still have?
I still have it.
That was the one that got recalled, right?
Yeah, those were actually recalled because they were causing skin irritation issues. So they issued a full recall for those. But that one was fun because it's got the actual the display on the front of it. And the Flex only has the little lights. So if you tap it, you can get like the percentage lights, and you can put it into sleep mode. I actually really like the sleep mode on this. I never had much luck with the Ultra, but the sleep mode for this is cool because you can do it after the fact too. So if you forget to put in your sleep, you can go back in and put the hours in.
So here's my sleep mode from last night, and you did a good job. So I think I racked up 17,000 steps yesterday. Comatose. It took me a couple minutes to fall asleep. Boom. Did not move until the alarm went off.
I don't think I've had one like that ever.
Yes. I woke up in the morning so excited. I'm like dead to the world.
I was awake at like 4 o'clock in the morning and like all the time. And it's funny because I go back through these, and most nights I get like 7.5 hours. But then I look at these where it's like the nights that I come home from the bar and I get like 4.5 hours of sleep, because I'll get home at 3 in the morning and get up at 7, and it's like 12 times restless in those 4 hours. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. So it goes back to the same thing, it's overanalyzing. I'm like, oh, I really need to sleep better.
I want to say I love all the color options on the Fitbit Flex.
Ooh.
Very fun. So I think it was, I bought the black one for, $99 Canadian. So you get the band, and then you get the little Fitbit, which is the guy that goes inside. Maybe I'll take that off quick. So, this is the band, but the actual magic is in this little piece here. So that is the Fitbit. That has all the gadgetry in it, and it talks back to my phone. But I can easily and it's all sweaty because I was out running errands and power walking before this podcast, and it just slides back in. And then, the other end is it talks to the apps, which are available for iOS and Android currently. Mm-hmm. I think they must have Windows Phone under development, and I think with BlackBerry 10.3, which is an OS update coming soon, the Android version should work pretty seamlessly on it, which is good.
There's also an unofficial Fitbit app for Windows Phone called Fitbit Tracker that's really good.
Oh, nice.
And then you can see within the app, it tracks your steps, your mileage. You can tap into the sleep mode like Adam was mentioning. And if you don't have an app, so you are currently a BlackBerry user, Windows Phone user, it also comes with like a little dongle for your computer.
Which looks like this, a little tiny there.
And once you're within range on your Fitbit, it'll just update. So you can get away with it mobile, like without an app on a phone, which is good. I think that is a way to not exclude anybody. But it's still one of the challenges.
Because that's how I have Allie set up. I mean, hers is older because she has the Ultra, but it has that base station. But she doesn't really use the app at all, to either check it or anything. She kind of looks at the actual device to see her steps, but just having it be able to sync without having to use the app or having to remember to do it, and it still goes to her dashboard, I think is huge for, it will be for a lot of people, even older people who, may not have a smartphone or something like that, or people who just don't care to use the app. They can still have it synced to their computer and their dashboard, so it's pretty good.
Fitbit also makes a wireless scale, kind of like the Withings one. It's Wi-Fi, it's connected, step on it, automatically syncs to your weight and your BMI and body fat percentage to your account.
Yeah, that one's very cool, the Aria, because you can actually do, I think, up to like 8 people with that.
Yeah.
And that kind of like goes above and beyond just tracking your steps and your calories and your water intake and all that stuff. It tracks your BMI and your weight and I think like your body fat or whatever. So it's, if you want to like go in full force with Fitbit, then that's the way to do it.
Right. By the way, I love those things that I can step on it and it's like, hey, that's Phil standing on me. Hi, Phil. I'm like, yes,
it is pretty wild.
One. It works with my 3-year-old daughter. Like I set her up with a profile just because it works. Why not?
And so it just watches the weight and it figures out the person without having to enter anything in?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, so I mean, Dan mentioned this, Rubino, who's was the editor.
Second in command at WP Central.
Yeah, the second in command at WP Central. And he did a great article kind of laying out his goals for the month, and he's pretty hardcore the last couple of years on his fitness routine and his health routine, and you should definitely read that article. But one thing he mentioned is don't worry about the accuracy, worry about the trends. And Phil, Adam, you were talking about this a little bit, and this is the really important part to understand. It's like, I have my Withing scale. It tells me right now I'm in that 18 or 19% body fat range. In reality, maybe I'm 21%, maybe I'm 16%. It could be off, because you got to remember the way this thing is measuring it is, you're telling it your height, your age, you're standing on it, it measures the weight accurately, right? It is a scale. It's using something I think called, it's measuring the impedance of like a low-level electric current through your body, which is going from foot through to the other foot, based on the amount of water in you, sweat, like the connectivity. All that can play variation a little bit, which is why you want to probably be consistent in your time of day. Like, roll out of bed, pee, stand on the scale. That way it's pretty consistent conditions whenever you use it. But the thing is, that accuracy of like, well, am I 18% or am I in reality 16% body fat? That's not so much what matters. What matters is, the trending over time. Because whatever it's inaccurate by, it'll be consistently inaccurate by if you minimize the other effects. And you could always go get your body fat measured, separately with calipers or the other testing methods on the market to try to figure out, okay, maybe in reality it's out by 3% compared to what these other tests tell me. But you still have such a powerful tracking tool in your house now that you just never had access to before this stuff existed.
Yeah, I agree. That was the worst transition ever, but. So Sam, we're only 3 days into June here and to Mobile Fit Month, and we have another 27, 28 days to go. What else do we have coming in the hopper that we can look forward to down the road?
A lot of great product reviews, app reviews. So we'll look at some of the best apps on all the different platforms to track your diet, track your weight, apps for the gym, general health apps. We'll look at some cool products like, the best cases for your phones when you're working out. It doesn't matter if it's an iPhone or an Android phone or a Windows phone. We'll highlight, the cases you want when you go on a run, when you go to the gym, things like that. We'll look at some cool products that you might not know about. Like there's a bra that can wireless. It's a connected bra. It can read your heart rate. I don't think any of us are wearing that.
I need one.
I think you should wear it. It would be amazing.
I will totally wear it.
They also make
they
make a shirt for guys, so you can just get the shirt. I don't think you want to wear the bra.
I would totally wear the bra. I like it better.
We'll look at best standing desk, how to make an office that's, most people these days have a 9-to-5 kind of desk job, and so tips and tricks on how you can still be active when you're inactive for the better part of the day. A lot of great stuff. Just looking at where health, fitness, and technology can come together and improve our lives.
So I think it's a little better than in years past. We just kind of, I think we split up things too, and we did like different weeks. We did like a nutrition week and stuff like that. But we're trying to get more into, how you can better yourself, and whether you're a beginner, like I think Kevin and Sam probably do a lot. I don't do very much. Phil had fried chicken for lunch. So it's.
I tell you, for me, it's been more about kind of changing the way I eat.
Yeah.
I'm using smaller plates at home now. So, so I'm not loading up a big plate. I can load up a little plate and have that optical illusion. Exercising, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, a decent amount, not like hardcore. And laying off the booze, and we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too. I mean, for me, it's kind of like this camaraderie now, because I think our social push this year, we named it Mobile Fit, and everything we write is with the hashtag for Mobile Fit. So it was cool over the weekend. To see, we did these kickoff posts like, hey, today's get started. Kevin made this awesome video where he's running around the park and going to the Porta-John, which is pretty amazing. But just the social push behind it, to wake up and see these tweets every day from people being like, hey, it's the second day of Mobile Fit, I'm going to the gym, or, this is what I'm doing. And I think it's kind of like having your gym buddies in a virtual world to kind of give you this push along. So I think as we've gone by for the last couple of years, it's gotten bigger and bigger. And I think this year it's this big Mobile Fit month, and it's definitely a bigger push than we've had in the past.
And Phil hit the nail on the head too with his goals, right? And I think that's the thing everybody's doing, is they're setting their own goals. This is about yourself. It's about taking a month to try to make some better habits. Have some fun while doing it. We all have different goals. We're all starting at different places, and I think that's the great part about it. And there's knowledge to be shared, and and things to learn from each other too. So it's going to be a fun month as we go through it. And you know, I think it's funny because we do it, you know, we do this event for our readers, but I think in reality we all do it for ourselves too. You know, it's kind of fun, right? You know, we run our sites day to day, and since we started, I remember when we had, I think Phil, you were there at CES in Las Vegas, I guess 3 years ago, when we were in Planet Dailies wolfing down our, you know, creme brulee toast. And you know, we were kind of gluttonous and having one of those weeks, and it's like, this is going to kill us if we don't do something about it. And I think, Adam, you were there too, and it was like, should we do fitness month? and Phil's like, yes. Adam's like, yes. And I was like, okay, if you guys are on board, we're doing this. And, you know, every year it's happened. I think, Adam, like you said, we're figuring out how to make it better and more fun for everybody. And now it's grown into something that's really great to see. And I want to see it a couple of years from now because I think the products are getting cooler and, you know, it's getting bigger each year with the communities taking part too. So, you know, you're onto something when everybody wants to do it in the workplace, even though it makes more work for us versus just going and enjoying beer in the month of June when it's patio season.
I think, too, a lot of the beauty lies in what you said. You know, we're all starting from different places, and it's kind of like, you know, the readers can decide for themselves if they want to do it, you know, and it can be their own thing. They don't have to tell anybody about it. You know, if you're a single guy and you just happen to be overweight and you want to participate, you know, we give you these ways to get into it and kind of ease yourself, but nobody has to know you're doing it. You don't have to tell somebody, you know, these are my goals, hold me to it. It's just kind of doing your own thing, and I think people still get motivated because they realize that all these other people that are just like them, you know, that are geeks like us that read our sites every day are doing the same thing. So they're like, hey, you know, I can do this, or whether it be, you know, getting up and going to the gym or just trying to eat better or just, you know, drinking more water during the day, whatever it is. So it's just kind of a cool feeling too to know that we're participating in it, but at the same time we're kind of helping these people that, you know, want to do these things to get into it a lot easier.
So we know Phil's goals, but how about Kevin, Adam?
I don't want to know Kevin's goals because he aims too high. My goal is I've been trying to lose weight for a while now. I actually started a kind of like a yoga-ish program a while ago. So
Cool.
I'm 13 weeks into that. I've lost, in the beginning I lost quite a bit, and I'm still working to go, you know, a little bit more. And my biggest drawback has been my eating because I've always liked to eat. I'm a food connoisseur, you know, and it's my problem is that as soon as I'm done eating something, it's like I have something else in my mind that I want to go eat. So I just kind of chain eat. So I need to drink more water and eat a lot better, but you know, I definitely would like to lose weight and be more fit, and this is definitely helpful. So.
Very good. Kev?
Yeah. So for the Fitbit challenge, I really want to make sure I hit 15,000 steps a day.
Cool.
So that's kind of the Fitbit challenge perspective. If I beat it some days, that's great. You know, for me, like I said, I've kind of had a fun year because, well, I got to be careful how I phrase this, because my fiance is in a different country, so it's been very stress-free on my part, and I've been able to like experiment on my body, not with crazy things, but
Wait, what?
you know, like put it this way, I cut out sugar from my diet, which for me was probably the biggest thing I've ever done in my life, and I've never been able to do it because I've never been able to string together enough days of eating in a row without, you know, having to go out for dinner and have a glass of wine and that as a result. And for me, that was a huge difference. You know, that like sugar is my, you know, what is it, Superman and his kryptonite? Like sugar is my kryptonite. It kills my energy at the gym. It's addictive. Like I just want more of it all the time. This isn't from reading a book. This isn't from a documentary. This is me from just saying, you know what, I'm going to try to not eat sugar for a couple of weeks and see how I feel. And after I did that, I'm like, I look at it like it's poison now. Working out, I've always had the enthusiasm for it, but the thing, again, it's kind of just been, I think my diet was so bad that I could never string together the energy and the workouts for a long enough period of time. So now I'm in a pretty good spot. I'd like to drop a few more pounds, get down into, you know, the 170s. I'm in the mid 180s right now. Just kind of lean out a little bit, and but also be realistic. This weekend, Adam and I and a few of the guys are going to Montreal for the Formula One weekend. I know it's going to be a little debaucherous. I'm in Miami next week. There's no way for that not to be a little debaucherous. So I'm not going to be avoiding the pleasures of life there, but you know, I'm going to be staying active and maybe having a less drink or two. And then when I come home, I'm going to go hard till the end of June, just with lots of exercise and healthy eating.
Awesome.
See where I end up.
Cool. So I think that's pretty much to cap it off for now. We're going to have plenty more. There's tons and tons of content to come from all the sites. throughout Mobile Fit Month, and we'll have a few more podcasts, hopefully at least one a week, where we'll dive into some more of the fitnessy things and check in with everybody. But you can go to connectedly.com/mobilefit for all the latest mobile fit stuff, and you can join our Fitbit challenge group thingy at connected.ly/mobilefitbit. Sam, editor of WP Central, can you tell us where we can find you?
I'm on pretty much any social network as Sam Sabri, at Sam Sabri, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, all those places.
Sam Sabri. Phil Nickinson.
Hi.
Hi. Where are you?
Phil.
Okay.
I'm at AndroidCentral.com.
My name is Adam Zeiss. I'm on Connectedly, and that's my good friend Kevin, who will say goodbye to everyone for us.
Soon to be Cage Michaels.
Uh-oh.
My parents gave me my blessing to change my name to my alter ego, which is pretty awesome. But that's a topic for another show. You can find me on Connectedly and in the social space at Kevin Mitchluck, and on crackberry.com, my favorite website ever, because it's crazy and awesome. And Mobile Fitbit. Oh wait, Mobile Fit, hashtag everywhere. And on Instagram, there's lots of weird videos of me doing workout stuff.
Don't watch them.
Don't
Okay,
watch.
thanks.
Oh, Phil posted a horrible video.
Till next time.
See you guys.